my girl. You're the type of woman to make a man get right. You're my world. You keep my mind spinning all through the night.
Hi, I'm Jalen.
And I'm Casey.
And welcome to the Jalen and Casey Show, Wednesday edition.
Wednesday edition.
Welcome. This is our second show of the week. Thank you for being here. It is 10 a.m. Eastern Hour Time. So let us know where you are watching from in the world. Drop your city or your country and your time. Is it midnight where you are? Is it the same time it is here? We want to know from our international audience. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Don't be a lurker. Let us know you're there. Let us know you're participating. Interact with us. Ask questions so we can answer them here live on the air. It's a rare opportunity to hear directly from the horse's mouth what we've got to say.
The horse's mouth.
The horse's mouth.
Wow, nay.
That's your horse impression?
Yep, nay.
All right, let's talk about our sponsor today. Shout out to our sponsor, Audible. audibletrial.com/Jalen and Casey to get access to audiobooks. This is your year to read some books or listen to some books.
Or listen to some books, yeah.
Because a lot of people prefer to listen. And early in our marriage, we told the story a million times, but that was how we connected. We would listen to marriage books as audiobooks, and we would stop and pause as we're listening and say, hey, look, that part that person, the author just said, that's how I feel. And that's what I've been thinking. And then we sit there and probably never even finish the book, but it was good for us. So, if that's your style, you want to listen to books, then you need to go ahead and get our Audible free trial. That's 30 days for Premium Plus. I believe you get a credit with that. And you can read some awesome books. There's all kinds of books there. We recommend a few. But we just want you to have that and get that for free. So type that in the chat right now. You can see the link tree, all the links we're going to be discussing today for today's broadcast, including the Audible trial. So click that and go ahead and get that for yourself. I think it'll be very good. All right. So let's get into today's episode. It is respect. Are we going to do the obligatory?
RESPECT.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get flagged on YouTube for that. I think that's enough. But yes, respect. Do you have it? Do you want it? Are you lacking it in your relationship? So here's the thing. There's a lot of things that people think that a relationship needs in order to survive, in order to work, or, anything like that. There's a lot of things that people would say, like, hey, you need this to make your relationship work. Yeah. Some people think it's love. Some people think it's money. All kinds of different things. You need the word of God. But as far as attributes, I think one of the things that's often overlooked is respect.
Yeah.
I believe respect is like this drying agent where if you drop it into the pool of marriage, it'll dry up all the affection and the love and the good feelings and the camaraderie and the trust and all that if there is a lack of respect. And so today we're going to talk about some of the subtle ways that we disrespect our spouse, some of the subtle ways we lose respect for our spouse without realizing it, and that real negative effect that it has on us when that happens. So we'll hop right into it today. Today we're going to be very conversational, anecdotal, telling stories, things like that, but just really getting into that because I think a lot of times we let this happen in our relationships and we don't even know how to fix it. We don't even know that it's happening. So the main question is, do you treat your spouse with respect? What does respect look like? And I'll pitch it to you here, but what do we think respect looks like in a relationship when you have that working operational?
Well, again, it goes back to your personal filter and how you were brought up, what experience you had, what told you what respect was, either by how you saw your father treat your mother or your mother treat your father, siblings, friendships, books, movies, whatever taught you what respect looked like. And most times I think most of us know or believe that respect is, treating someone kind, opening a door for them, or yes ma'am, yes sir, listening. I think we all have a general knowledge of what respect looks like. And I think we all feel it. We all kind of know when we're being respected and when we're not being respected. Sometimes, most times. But respect can feel different to different people.
It's funny when you brought that up, like, the way you handle people. Like, I think when we're as children, there's a big, focus on respect, being respectful, like respect your elders, respect other people, respect people's boundaries and space. But as we get older, we kind of don't talk about it as much.
Yeah.
Focus is taken off of it. Like you do it as a child unto adults or unto other kids. But then it's like, okay, how do I handle respect for myself when I'm being disrespected?
Yeah.
How do I handle it?
Do you respect yourself?
How do I extend respect to other people?
Yeah.
Because we're taught to have boundaries. Like, don't snatch that toy out of that kid's hands. But do we still practice that in the workplace as we become adults, as we become married and all that? And then how do we handle disrespect? And I don't mean just, okay, I'm being disrespected, let me speak up for myself. Yes, there are times when you do that. But also, do you have enough self-control to know that when you've been disrespected, to weigh, is this a place for me to try to fight for my rights and say, no, you can't treat me that way, or to let it slide because I have self-control and this is the way to handle it in this situation, and not to have thin skin. And if you are someone who's very thin skinned and, someone disrespecting you makes you fly off the handle, you're going to struggle in marriage, for one. 100%.
Absolutely. I think being respectful or understanding respect is, you have to be a person of self-control.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to be disrespected.
Oh, yeah.
At some point in your life, you're going to be disrespected. Somebody not going to treat you right. But you got to have self-control first.
Yeah.
In order to even really be able to discern respect when it's happening to you.
Yeah.
You got to have self-control, not be a person, like you said, to fly off the handle the moment somebody disrespects you. Some people are very hardcore about, I don't give respect unless respect is given to me. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I don't live by that. I get it. I do get that. But because I strive to be like Jesus and to walk in love, to walk in forgiveness, just because someone disrespected me don't mean I'm going to give disrespect back to them. Because what is it? You can't fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to change the situation. I'm always going to treat them with the best respect that I got. Mm-hmm. Now, doesn't mean that I have to be a doormat and don't speak up for myself. But I'm not hardcore on that. If they don't respect me, I'm not going to respect them. Because that's not what the Bible says. No. That's not what I'm called to do.
Exactly. And the place that you experience most disrespect is with loved ones.
Yeah.
I mean, it even happened to Jesus.
Yeah.
He went to his hometown. He said, a prophet is not without honor except amongst his own, family and things like that, his own hometown. And he had to leave that place. It was this, we could put the focus on the respect, but he mentioned the word honor, which is slightly different, but it's also their lack of faith, their unbelief, and so he could do no mighty works there. So that was the focus of why he had to depart from that place. But we can still draw a little bit of a connection there with respect, how to handle those things.
Oh, but can I just mention this with all due respect? Can I just say that disrespect happens when you are familiar with people. Mm-hmm. And you take people for granted because you're so familiar. Yep. The reason why Jesus couldn't do any works in his hometown is because people were so familiar with him. Yep. And they've seen him grow up as a boy. They probably seen him get disciplined and all those things. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, that's Mary's little boy. That's Joseph's little boy. Yep. Like, what he gonna do? Mm-hmm. I don't, I'm older than him, I changed his diaper when he was a baby. Like, we just familiarity can be
exactly
one of those things that cause you to disrespect someone because you think you know them. Mm-hmm. You think you know them. And so you don't give them the credit that they're due.
Exactly. And so if that happens amongst loved ones, specifically with family, everyone could think of a family member that doesn't treat them with the respect that they're due. You could have gone to college, got an education, be working a good job. Mm-hmm. And it's something about it, they don't seem to grasp it. They'll give respect to somebody else that's done all the same things you've done, but won't give it to you. Yeah. And if you're not someone who can mature and get past that and just understand that that's just what happens with family, you'll carry that burden and bitterness. And you'll carry it into marriage to where you'll turn bitter and angry against anybody who gives you a sign of disrespect. Mm-hmm. And disrespect happens very easily in marriage because the longer you're married, it's very easy to get familiar with your spouse. Yeah. And it sounds weird because aren't I supposed to get to know them and understand them and know them like the back of my hand and know them better than they know themselves? Yes, but there's something I always say, and I still stand by this, is that the moment you think you got your spouse all figured out is the moment you lose because you don't give them space to continue to grow and change and transform. We still communicate. It was a couple of days ago, we were sitting right here at this table and we just had a kind of spontaneous conversation and it got kind of deep into certain things we've been dealing with lately and our feelings and our thoughts. And as I'm sitting there listening to her speak and lay out what she's feeling about things, what she's thinking about things, I am not assuming that I know what she's going to say. I'm not assuming that I already know how she's going to respond to things. I'm listening with new ears. That's a good term. New ears with the idea that I'm going to learn something new about the way she ticks now that may be different from how she ticked 10 years ago when we first got married. Okay, because she is constantly evolving and maturing. Especially if you're a godly person, you're growing in the Word of God. You're growing in maturity. The Spirit of God is disciplining you, and you are growing. So never get so familiar with your spouse that you don't give space to learn something new about them.
Absolutely.
For one, that'll kill the excitement in your marriage. If you feel like I got you all figured out. There's nothing new to discover. No, there's always something new to discover. Getting older doesn't mean getting stale. It's more evolution of a person's personality. But when you get familiar and when you think you've got someone all figured out, that's when you start losing respect for them. And it's weird. Like I, as we talk, maybe it'll click for me, but I'm trying to figure out what exactly is the cause of it. Because I don't think we always do it knowingly, you know?
Yeah, I think we just stop listening. Like you said, we get so familiar that we think we know what they're going to say. So we jump in and talk for them.
Yep.
We just stop listening. We stop discerning. We stop acknowledging and seeing the growth in our spouse. We just stop being attentive altogether. And we just assume that they are in the same place they were when we first got married. Mm-hmm. And they're not. And that's where you have on our notes here where we lose respect because we have expectations of them based off of what we think we know about them. Mm-hmm. So if I expect you to take out the trash, right? And you've been taking trash out all this time, but something changed and I just assume that you should know, and I just get annoyed or you miss taking trash out and I'm not looking at you for, I mean, it's a bad example, but something happens and I just assume that you're supposed to take it out because you always taking it out and I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to do it. So I just be piling up trash.
Yeah.
Piling up trash, dumping trash in the trash can, seeing that's overflowing. And you could be looking at me like, you know, you live here too. Mm-hmm. You contribute to this trash too. Mm-hmm. You can take out the trash every once in a while just because I kind of elected myself to do that. It doesn't mean that you can't contribute. So you feel like I'm taking you for granted because I just assumed in my mind that this is your place, this is your job, this is what you're supposed to do. So I stopped handling that situation. I'm using trash as an example, or taking out the trash as an example. But I've taken for granted that that's your job, your place, and I'm not even seeing it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not even seeing that maybe in this season of life, you're overwhelmed with work, you're busy, you maybe not feeling well, whatever the case may be. So I just stopped seeing you. Yeah. I just stopped seeing it.
No, well, so I think what happens is, and I think roles are important in marriage, and even, division of assignments. I do this, I do that, this is how I contribute, all that kind of thing, and how we make the thing happen. But after a while, once someone's been assigned a role and they're in it, you lose perspective about what it takes to get that thing done.
You do.
Once you've not done it for a while.
True.
And so by default, you're eventually going to lower the threshold of difficulty, of investment, of what it takes to actually get it done. Yeah, that's a better way of saying it. Yeah. You just assume it's easy because you're not doing it. And it's I believe it's nearly impossible to keep that from happening. You just have to catch it when you're doing it and renew your mind and be like, okay, wait a minute. This isn't as easy. Just because I don't know what it takes doesn't mean that it's easy. My wife cooks our dinners, things like that, right? There have been times when every spouse has been through this, where you get frustrated with your spouse, you're mad about something, you're dissatisfied in your life, and you look at your spouse like, man, I do more than my spouse does. Or they don't love me as much as I love them. I do more than they do. And in those moments where you're angry and you get that serpent whispering in your ear, you can't for the life of you figure out anything that your spouse does for you. I've talked to a man before and I'm like, he's going through something in life, whatever like that. He's frustrated. I'm like, okay. And I don't know why I asked the question. I wasn't asking it as a negative way, but somehow I got to the question of like, what does your wife do or assist with the whatever? He was like, she don't do nothing. And he said that out of frustration. And I knew it wasn't true, but I knew in his frustrated state, he couldn't think of anything that his wife contributed to his life to make his life easier, better, or whatever. And when we post videos online, I see lots of comments from angry men and women that just act like their spouse does zero to contribute to their life.
Until they go hungry.
Well, exactly, right? And so that happens. And so what's happening is a lack of respect that's come because you forget. And sometimes you just got to stop and write down everything your spouse does. You make a list. So in those frustrated moments, you can look at that list and be like, okay, let me get my head on straight. They actually do a lot. And I don't know what all it takes to get the job done because I'm not cooking dinner for the household. I just kind of expect it to be done. And if there's a couple of days in a row where she's tired, things have gotten busy, and she hasn't done it, it would be easy for me to get frustrated and be like, oh, you got one job, just do this. I don't not go to work when I'm feeling, tired or whatever like that. But the truth is, if she wasn't doing it, I don't even know how to cook half the meals that she cooks. I can cook breakfast pretty good, but everything else, I'm out back. So it's like, you got to remember, you actually don't know what all it takes. And sometimes, I'm going to get into a story here. You need to find a way to get into your spouse's world and look at the tasks that they do, the work that they do on a daily basis, and see it for yourself. Have a swap day or something and realize, wow, this takes more than I thought it did. When you see the effort that goes into it, you respect more. Okay. I love watching behind the scenes documentaries from movies growing up. Back in the day, we had DVDs, physical copies, and there was a second disc, and there was like behind the scenes features and all this stuff. And you would see the making of the movie, the special graphics and all the rigging of the equipment and the way the actors did the scenes. And whenever I would watch a movie, I would enjoy the movie. But when I watched it behind the scenes, that made me respect the movie.
Yeah.
That made me respect the people that made the movie. It made me see the director and the actors and the orchestra and the editors and the graphics and the designers.
And the time it took.
Yeah. And when I'm watching the movie, when I see the finished product, I just am enjoying the movie. And I can walk out and say, that's a great movie. And I never give credit to the director, the writers, the actors. I'm ignoring the credits that scroll across the screen. But when I watch the behind the scenes featurette, that's when I see the director. That's when I see the actors. That's when I see the writers. And then I gain respect for them. And so sometimes you need to see behind the scenes of what your spouse is doing every day in order to respect them, because you're seeing the finished result. And you may like the meal. You may like the money in the bank account. You may like the fact that the kids aren't running around hellions outside and they're safe. But if you don't see behind the scenes of what it takes, you'll love the result, but not respect the person who gave you that result. And that's vitally important.
But if we remember that we ought to love each other as we love ourselves. We ought to love each other as we love Christ. It'll keep us from jumping that line of disrespect a lot of times. Because just know how, if you can remember how you would feel or how you felt in the past being disrespected, you don't want to do that to somebody else.
Exactly.
And it really takes practice. We don't always get it perfectly right all the time, but it takes practice respecting one another and remembering, like, he's my body, she's my body. How do I want my body to feel today? And we really got to start keeping that in the forefront of our mind when we are dealing with our spouse. He's my body, she's my body, and I don't want my body to be in pain. We disrespect God a lot because we take for granted everything that he does. We assume it's easy for God to be God. And I'm not, please hear me. The arm of the Lord is not short. Is anything too hard for God? I'm not denying any of that. But what I'm saying is, we really don't know what it took. We see the words on a page, but to create this universe, we don't know what it takes for this universe to be upheld and for this earth to not spin off its axis and for us the proper distance we've been set away from the sun for that to not move a centimeter and burn us all up or freeze us. Like what I love about science is, if you're a believer, science makes you respect God more and more because you're seeing behind the scenes. Science is a behind the scenes study of what God did. When you understand the DNA and you understand physics and the laws of physics, and you start getting into matter and dark matter and space and the distance Earth from the sun and the way everything spins on orbit, you get more and more respect for who God is, because you realize, wow, God, this wasn't just, you actually took the time to engineer this entire universe, and then you spoke it into existence. Maybe the speaking was easy, but the engineering, you had to actually calculate all that. And when you understand the science of what God did, you respect him more. And so I think we need to start digging into the science of how our spouses get done, the things that they get done. And then don't even forget this, later on I want to talk about, you respect them, but then showing honor to them once you have that respect. That goes along with respect. And I want to talk about that a little bit. But I want to give this story, and I just told it a couple of broadcasts ago, but I think it's very apropos to talk about it here. There's a story that I heard from a minister about a wife who, they were a Christian couple and everything, but she constantly belittled her husband. Like at home, she just felt like he was basically incompetent. Everything he did was the wrong way. She would correct it. Whatever it was around the house, maybe it was something to do with cleaning with the kids or whatever. She had, I think this is a common thing for stay-at-home moms and wives, is that y'all will set up the house the way you want it, set up the kids' schedule the way you want it. And so if the husband is ever like off work at home one day, it throws the whole thing off. And it can be very frustrating because he doesn't know the schedule you've set. And so it's very annoying, even though you love him, to have him in the space throwing a monkey wrench in the plan
And he's like, all right, go back to work so I can get the schedule back on track. But what'll happen is, because you set up your house the way you want it to run, if he comes and does it a different way, even if it's not wrong, you're frustrated because it's not the way that you set, and your way is the most efficient. It is the most perfect. And your husband's way is automatically less efficient, less perfect, and wrong. And people do it in cars we're driving. I think that happens when we drive a lot.
Okay.
You know, your preferred way of driving. My way is different.
Okay.
But I'm saying this is the thing that spouses do. So in this story, this wife, basically textbook example of this, maybe to an extreme. But one day, for whatever reason, she had to go to his office. Maybe he forgot his lunch, had to take it to him. And when she got to his office, she saw a different version of her husband. And when I say version, it wasn't that he was doing anything different. It was the way everyone was responding to him. He was in some supervisory type position, and his employees treated him with respect, called him sir, and he was just in his zone, competently executing the duties of his job as a supervisor, and things ran smoothly and well, and everyone respected him. And the thing that kind of put the nail in the coffin was she saw his secretary looking up at him with admiration and pride and all that stuff. And she saw that look on the secretary's face, and it just made her afraid. And she said she got back in the car and just sank and realized, oh, wow, like I'm on the verge of losing my husband. And it wasn't so much that I think he was doing anything wrong. She just realized that she was on the verge of pushing him away with disrespect and dishonor, but that there were people who were honoring him, and that it was her viewpoint that was twisted, not anything that he was doing wrong. And I love that story because I think we all do that in different ways. And sometimes it's not until you hear somebody else talk about your spouse or your family member that you realize, oh, they've got something going on in life, and I've been missing it. It's like this is a veil over my eyes, and I didn't see that they are actually someone who is competent. And if you don't think your spouse is competent, you definitely don't respect them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, that's very commonplace in marriages and family alone. Like, and not throw my family under the bus or anything like that, but I don't know they know exactly all the things that I do.
Yeah.
Because they're not always in my space. You know, I've ran businesses, I've had employees, I know how to lead, I know how to do the things like that. But in the confines of my family, I'm just Casey. I'm the person that had all these quirks growing up. You know, I'm the picky one. I'm the one who probably had a very stone face. I didn't show my emotions a whole lot. So there's a lot of things that they grew up with me knowing, but they don't see the person that I evolved into. Yeah. So when I'm around them, all they have is that outdated information. And I also find that, and maybe it's a little bit off steer a little bit, but I also find that when I'm around them, I tend to kind of just sink back into their perspective of me, because it's almost easier to do, and instead of just fighting for what I know I'm capable of doing, because I know they're not going to receive it the way I want them to receive it. So I tend to kind of just lay back and be the person that they know me as. Yeah. And we can do that. Is that respect or disrespect of yourself? I'm still figuring that out. But it is important that we kind of step back from our spouse. And not I'm talking about separating. I'm talking about taking a perspective of them that's not the everyday that you encounter all the time. I know for me, you know, our everyday life, he got his way, he wanted to do things. I got my way of wanting to do things. And it's like you said, when you was away outside the home working, and you would come home for a few days, it'd be great for a minute, but then you want to tell JJ to do something a certain way. I'm like, no, he don't like that. He likes it like this. And I'm like, oh my God, let me do it. You know, can you do anything right? Or you think you're doing something to help me, but it's like, no, that's not how you do it. It'd be like frustrating. But then I would see him stand up and minister or lead a group or put a meeting together, and I'm standing back watching. I'm like, oh, that's my husband. Oh, okay. And I like that, you know, it turns me on sometimes, like watch him, you know, handle himself in business and things like that. And I have to remind myself that that's him too. Yeah. You know, that's him too. And then again, I think it goes back to having unrealistic expectations of our spouse. Even understanding what they're not good at. Yeah. You know, my husband's not good at certain things. So why am I putting pressure on him to be great at something that I know he's just not? And I hate using the word competent. It's just, it's not his talent. It's not his gift. You know, he's not going to clean the kitchen exactly how I'm going to. I don't care what his best efforts. It's just not going to happen. So why walk around being dissatisfied and then get offended at the way he's doing it? And offense is also a door of disrespect.
Yeah. I think one thing I say is, why do you get mad at your spouse for not being good at something that you're good at? If you want them to be better and to do everything the way you do it on the level that you do it, what do they need you for? They could divorce you and say, I don't need you anymore. I can cook like you cook. I can clean like you clean. I can drive like you drive. I can make money like you make money. I don't need you anymore. Then you'd be like, oh, shoot. Like, what am I going to do? Like, the things that you're not good at, that they're not good at, that's what you're there for. That you're useful. They have need of you. But I think it's important that spouses, I'm a fan of spouses being in business together. Maybe it's not for everybody. I'm a fan of it because I believe that gives you a chance to see your spouse's competency. When you guys have something you can work together, whether it's ministry, business, whatever, some outside of the home project that's not just focused on you and your kids and your finances, but that focuses on offering a good or a service or a ministry to someone else. Maybe it's just volunteering. Y'all go to a soup kitchen, but something where y'all are serving other people. Because when you do that, you can kind of, instead of being face-to-face with your spouse, you're kind of beside your spouse and you're watching them. You can observe them and you can see them in a new light. By watching your spouse with other people, you can see them in a new light, positive or negative. And you can look at them and be like, I've never seen this side of you before. And you can see their competency and their skills and their talents and their giftings and their anointings come out.
Yeah, that's so
and you
true.
can see something you've never seen before.
So true.
And you mentioned when you see me, like, it was recent. Like, I know that my wife is feeling me that day if she sends me a picture, and usually it's her sitting in the audience or the crowd of whatever meeting I'm leading or preaching I'm doing, and she has a picture of me, usually in a suit, and I always have this pose of me sharing or looking down at my notes, and she'll send it to me, and I'm like, okay, that was a moment when you were feeling me, you like me. She likes me the most when I'm preaching,
because that's your wheelhouse. That's your strongest wheelhouse, and I like seeing you operate in that. And that was really one of the positions that really highlighted you to me, where I was like, I really like him. That's before we got married. Like, it was you was operating in that type of role, and I was looking from a distance like, wow, I really like that.
You got to remember what attracted you to your spouse in the first place. We've told the stories many times on all our videos before in our story, but when you talk about the moment that you first started considering me as like, maybe you should be my husband, I was preaching. You were watching me preach. The time I tell you when the Lord first highlighted you to me, you were teaching. That's one of the times when I enjoy. Not even, sometimes when we're side by side, I like it. But I like when I can, just like you, I can sit in the audience and just watch you work. When she's teaching something that she knows a lot about, like whether it's biblical things or even if it's her skills like makeup and hair, when she's like in her bag of knowledge and everything, I see her mastery at work. I enjoy watching that. I enjoy watching her minister to women and things like that. So I've always, like, she's been married, been trying to push her more and more. Go out, start that meeting, do this group, lead, do something, teach, because I know that there's a spark in her that comes alive when she does that and her own self-esteem, but also I enjoy seeing it because that's what attracted me to her in the first place. It's that, and it was one other thing that I discovered after we were married. It's weird. I really enjoy when you, and I'm trying to figure out, is it food centered or is it just in general? You know what I'm saying? The time it happened was we do this thing every year where we invite our family for Christmas, and either on Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, we have a brunch or a dinner or something. Sometimes we'll take them out. But it was one particular year we did it, and you went all out, and the table was set up, and you had a charcuterie board, you had all the snacks, you had the desserts. It was like this brunch thing you had going, and it was beautifully laid out, decorated. And I remember being so impressed with it. That's an important word, being impressed with your spouse. And I took a video and picture of it, and I remember, and I was a manager at this point, I went to some of my employees and showed them the pictures and the video of what you put together. That's how impressed I was. And here's the thing. When I was in the workplace and things like that, I rarely talked about my wife and my son. And it was weird because I was like, I know I love them. I was like, why don't I talk about them? There are people who just, they'll show you pictures of the baby. They'll show you their spouse and that. And I wasn't that person. I'm a very private person when I'm amongst other people. And I was trying to figure out why that was. I was like, is this a negative thing? But then when I caught myself doing it that time, I was like, this is the difference. And this is even something I realized about witnessing about Jesus. If you struggle to witness about Jesus, I've heard people say it's because you don't really love him as much as you think you do. I don't think that's true. I think you do love him. I think we don't witness about Jesus because we're not impressed with him.
Oh, wow.
And we don't talk about our spouse to other people because we're not impressed with them. Usually when you're out talking about your kids, things like that, it's something they've done. They kick the soccer ball into the goal in their little 5-year-old league, and you're excited, and you're posting the pictures about it. They graduated with honors. You put the bumper sticker in your car. I'm a parent of an honor student. They went to a college, and you put that on your, like they're on the football team, they're on the basketball team. There's something they've done that's impressed you. Mm-hmm. And so you want to witness to somebody else about it. I was a witness of this achievement they've done.
That's good.
And
that's good.
that's when I talk about my wife and my son, is when they've done something that's impressed me. I love them the entire time, but when something impresses me, I have to go tell somebody about it. And so this is kind of a rabbit trail. Witnessing about Jesus is about being impressed with something he's done in your life. So I believe the biggest thing to help you in your witnessing and discipleship and teach people about Jesus is you've got something going in your life. You've got faith projects where you believe God for something and something succeeded, because it's easy for you to then go and tell somebody else, this is what God has done for me. Do you know how good Jesus is? This is what he's done for me. And if all you've got is he saved me, and I'm not minimizing that, but if the last thing you had is I got born again 10 years ago, that's all you've got. Nothing has happened.
Well,
since
that
then.
just saying that just sparked inspiration. We gain respect for our spouse when there is always consistent growth.
Amen.
Because if your relationship is stagnated and that's all you got was the beginnings of your relationship, you're going to grow out of respect. You're going to lead yourself into disrespect. So growth incites respect. And it's important that both of you are growing together in whatever it is. Like you mentioned earlier about having a business together, having some sort of project, a ministry outreach, something, volunteering together, doing something that requires both of you to work side by side with one another can foster respect for one another. And do something that's sometimes outside of your work life wheelhouse.
Yeah.
You know, when we sit here at this table and we minister together, it really is kind of not contrary. I'm looking for a word. Very different than our career paths.
Yeah.
You know, very, very different. It takes us out of a different lane, and it's something that both of us had to learn and grow in together. We didn't come at this table knowing everything we know now. You know, we had to work together on getting to this place. You know, we've kind of worked on our careers separately from each other. I was already in business when we got married. I went to school, did this. You went into the workplace. I had no interest in what he's doing. He didn't have interest in what I was doing before we got married. This right here, though, is ours that we built together. Amen. And it's outside of what we do prospectively, separately. So it's important that you have something, and it can't be the kids. It can't be the kids. It has to be something that both of you are learning and growing together. Make you have to work as a team.
Amen.
You know, really. So you can learn each other's strengths. 'Cause a lot of times we are not aware of our spouse's strengths. It's really easy. And I know it's the enemy. I know it's the devil doing this. But it's very easy to spot someone's weaknesses and highlight those and magnify those. But it takes very special skill to perceive someone's strengths and highlight those and praise those. So you got to create an environment by which you are always seeing your spouse's strengths.
And working together on something is the best and easiest way to do it. And our friendship was built on working together in ministry, for one. And I believe we set ourselves up successfully because we work together well to be able to do that. So let's talk about ways to show, to help you respect your spouse. If you realize, as we've been talking, it's like, I've been losing respect, and I want to change that. You know, it may seem like, okay, well, what should they do to make me respect them again? But there are things you can do to regenerate the respect, because assuming you've been married for any length of time, again, there was something that you respected that impressed you enough to say, I do. And if that's the case, it's just a matter of kind of reigniting that again, remembering that again. That's why spouses sometimes on anniversaries, they'll go back to where they first met, where they first had a date, they'll go back to the hotel, they had their honeymoon, whatever, because they're kind of like reliving those days and kind of regenerating those feelings. So one way to respect your spouse, to show respect, is to respect is something that you can have for someone, but honor is something that you do.
Yeah.
And so take it a step further by honor. And you can use honor to reverse engineer respect. Actually, I've seen it done through giving. That's the best way to honor somebody, is through giving. And so your spouse does things, whether you can remember them right now or not, but they do things on a daily basis that make your life better, more comfortable, or continue to run. They're oil to the wheel that keeps running. And so find ways to honor them for what they do. One way for me is come home and surprise them with some flowers. It's small. I'm not saying it's always a big expensive thing. If you got the money to make it expensive, do it. Wings. There was this place where we would get these wings from, and I would just sometimes surprise with it. She would love it, you know. And if I really wanted to get her, I would get the wings and the burger she liked from the plate. And I would just, you know, blow her mind. So, you know, know this way for holidays, but find ways to surprise them with something that says, it is not always I love you. It's I see you.
Yes.
That can go a lot farther. Because a lot of times your spouse, they know you
now
love them.
That's a big one.
I see you. Because
that's
I see
a big
you
one.
means I see what you're doing. I see the effort it takes. Even if you don't grasp everything behind the scenes, I see the effort it takes, and I'm respecting you with this. I'm honoring you and what you do. Make it from that angle. If you're
that's a big one.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel unseen.
Yep.
I know you love me. You know, I know you know, you don't abuse me, all that kind of stuff. But do you see me? Mm-hmm. Do you hear me? And I think for me, when we got married, that was one of the biggest things that made me really love you, is the fact that you saw me, because I felt so unseen my whole life by people that I knew loved me. Mm-hmm. But again, going back to that familiarity thing, they didn't see me and what I could really contribute to the table or bring to the table. And sometimes we think, oh, you just vying for attention. It wasn't that at all. I just wanted to be acknowledged. I want you to see me. And I think that is a really big key. And I don't know how to really expand on that so much. Maybe that's something I need to kind of meditate on, how to like minister that back to other people. But being known, the Bible talks about that. He knew me before the foundation of the world. He knew me before he even put me in my mother's womb. Like, he knew me. He saw me. And he prepared for me because he knew me.
See, if you go into that angle of it, of knowing and seeing somebody, then you get to start to respect even their flaws.
Yeah.
Showing respect and honor for their weaknesses, to say, I see this sore spot. I see this unhealed spot. Mm-hmm. And while everyone else would denigrate you for it and put you down and make you feel less for it, I'm going to protect it. I'm going to shield you, and I'm going to hold you, and not respond negatively to you.
And you don't lose value to me.
Exactly.
Because of it.
Exactly. Because that's how God handles us. Yeah. And it's not a validation of, you could just be this way forever and it's fine. But I remember there was, before we ever had JJ, things like that, you know, what was it? Oh, I know what it was. One of those times I just decided I was going to surprise her with this, that, or the other. And I think I surprised you like a Snickers bar or something like that. That's one of your favorite, you know, candies. And this was early in our marriage.
I like food, y'all.
And I gave it to you and everything. And you said something out of your mouth. You said, yeah, I said, thank you. You said, although I probably don't need it. And you were talking about, you know, for health reasons, weight reasons, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You're exercising at the time and all that kind of stuff. And I specifically said something. The Holy Ghost inspired. I said, my job is not to critique you or try to correct you in your weight loss journey or anything like that. I said, my job is to love you, or something along those lines. I think I said it a different way, but something along those lines. And the way you responded, you got cheery-eyed there, because you were so critical of yourself in this area that for someone to just see you and understand, yeah, I understand what you're going through and I understand your feelings about it and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to love you. I'm here to just appreciate you and love you for who you are and see you where you are. And if you're working on it, you're going to get there. I believe in you, but I'm not here putting pressure on you. And that was a moment of release for you. And this was early in our marriage when that happened. And I think it was a part of you understanding and believing me when I said that I found you beautiful, no matter what you look like, what your size was, you know, and that was a part of that. But, you know, seeing your spouse, even in their flaws, and still having respect and honor for them, and choosing to respect and honor them and all those things, and not always trying to correct them. If all you do is criticize your spouse and correct them, and you're not helping the cause. You're not helping them achieve the goal. I've told a story before that if your husband is not building a deck, he's supposed to build the deck. You're not going to get him to build a deck by continuing to nag him about it. You'll get him to build a deck by encouraging all the things that he's doing right and complimenting him on that, and then he'll go do it. The reason why that works is if you show honor and respect to your spouse, what happens is they, from a man's perspective, maybe it's different from women, you have to tell me, but from a man's perspective, we will chase the compliment. We will chase the good feeling. So if you call us handsome, you say that we're good looking, and we know that we haven't been in the gym in a week, but you compliment our muscles. If you compliment how hard we're working, even though we know we haven't done everything around the house, what's going to happen is it's positive reinforcement. We want more of those. So if you compliment my muscles, even though I haven't been to the gym in a week, I'm going to think, okay, if she likes the muscles right now, I can get another compliment if I go to the gym this week and pump them up some more. Then she'll really have something to say about it. That's how our minds work. If you compliment everything we're doing, it's like, oh, that made me feel good. Well, let me go do something else for her that I know she wants done so I can get another compliment. It's like maybe it's a little boy thing in us, but that's how we work.
Amazingly, negative affirmations over someone doesn't make them change. You know, it does. Like I used to say that to myself, like, you know what? I know I need to lose weight. I know I need to do this, whatever. And you think the reminders of that will tell you, okay, put that candy down, go to the gym, but it doesn't.
Nope.
It does not work at all. It's being able to, again, grow and develop in an environment that is nurturing, that's loving, that's respectful, being able to be known and seen, and not have the pressure of having to perform in order to be loved, in order to be respected.
Yep.
You know, and we feel like we got to pay out of our life just to be respected. That's stress. That's toil. And it's hard to grow in that. It's hard to do anything. So typically we'll run from it, we'll cut off from it, or we'll die on the vine. Like we'll just wither up and die. So like you said, if I want you to be more productive in an area, I'm going to praise you. I'm going to highlight the things that you're doing that's well, that I like, and focus on those more than the things that are negative, because you're more receptive to corrective criticism, because you have to be corrected. We're more receptive to corrective criticism when, again, we feel nurtured and safe, and we know that you're not saying or doing these things to harm me, but to love me. We're more open to that when we create that type of environment.
And the reason why, when you criticize someone and they pull back instead of going to do the thing you said to do, is because it becomes a matter of it's not worth the effort.
Yeah.
If you criticize me 10 times a day about different things, I'm not going to feel more motivated to go do any of those things because I feel like it ain't worth it. All you're going to do is criticize me, because all you do is criticize me. So it's like you demotivating the person. However, if you if you compliment me in 10 different things, then I'm gonna be like, oh, it's easy to get a compliment. This isn't that hard. I can go get more of this. And it's like a psychology thing or whatever. But if you're some people are just too rigid, got no imagination and creativity in their marriage. And it's like, well, I just gotta be honest. And I just can't say anything good about them if they're not doing something good. And you may think that that's like a good character trait. It's a bad one. It's a very bad one. Because here's the thing about God. He sees the end from the beginning. He'll call you something before you are it. He called Abram a father of many nations. So if you can't call your spouse the thing that you're believing for them to be by faith, then that's not a good, honest character attribute. I just got to tell you the truth the way I see it as it is. That's a lack of faith and who your spouse can be and what God can do with them. That's really what it is. And that's not a good character trait.
And I mean, we practice that with our son too. You know, our son, he's 5. He's learning what it means to be obedient, to tell the truth and all those things. And, you know, sometimes he get it right, sometimes he don't get it right. And it seems like we're constantly having to correct him. That's just what parenting is all about right now. But I make sure, and we both make sure, that we are enforcing in him that you are capable of doing hard things. You are capable. You are strong. You are smart. You are intelligent. God loves you. We love you. We're proud of you. You're handsome. You know, you don't get frustrated. You know, you're not distracted. He has his confessions that we have him say every day. And something happened the other day. Yeah. You was helping him with something. You told him, don't get distracted. And what did he say?
Well, no, what it was whatever it was, I was making breakfast or whatever, and I was like, no, I said, because sometimes you get distracted. He said, no, I don't get distracted. He said, because my scriptures say I'm not distracted. And I stopped, I looked at him, I said, you know what, you're right, son, you're not distracted.
Yeah.
And it was cool because I'm like, oh, this is working. He
Yep.
believes the written word and what's being said. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna reinforce that. I'm not gonna beat him over the head and say you got distracted yesterday, so now I'm gonna say you're a distracted person, as if me saying that is gonna motivate him to not get distracted. And look at how you handle your kids, because we do that a lot. We do negative motivation on our kids.
Yep.
We browbeat them, show them our disapproval, as if we're trying to manipulate them into chasing our approval. So if I show you my disapproval, my facial expression about the things that I say,
Yep.
then that'll motivate you to chase my approval.
It
do the right
doesn't.
thing.
It doesn't.
But it doesn't work on your kids.
It
It doesn't
doesn't.
work on your spouse. It doesn't work on
Doesn't.
anybody on planet Earth.
At all.
It just doesn't. You know, I remember customer service even. I'm on the phone with customer service for a laptop it was years ago, wasn't working. And I'm on the phone to customer service and they're walking me through and they actually got it fixed. We figured out how to reboot the computer. And this entire time, this guy's on the phone. He sounds real drab, real like he doesn't even want to be there. But I listen and I do follow the instructions and the thing works. So at the end, he's like, now, a quick survey. If you could rate my service today on whatever, how would you give it out of a 1 to 10? And I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to give him a little bit more than maybe what he deserves based on what he was talking. I said, I had a problem. We walked through it. You solved it. And I can work again. I said, so I'll give you a 10. Exactly after I said that, his entire demeanor on the phone changed. His voice jumped up. He was like, well, you just made my day. That's the first 10 I ever got. I hope you have a great day. And I didn't know he could sound like that. And we hung up the phone. I thought, he's going to be better for the next person.
Yep.
Because I was willing to offer him something that maybe he didn't completely deserve.
Yeah.
But I was willing to focus on the strengths of the weaknesses. His weakness was his tone of voice and his demeanor. But his strength was his knowledge.
Yep.
So I decided to rate him on the knowledge instead of focusing and criticizing the weaknesses.
That's good. Yep.
I could have been on the phone and be like, well, look, you need to be better on the phone because I'm a customer. And if you want to get far in life, I could have tried to teach him. And I know people who do that. I watch people do this in real life and they'll think I'm helping the world.
They do it
because
to us
I'm
in the
teaching-
comments.
Well, I'm saying they're teaching people how to be better. You should do this. You should do
Yep.
that. And they walk away proud of themselves because I'm bettering the world. People
You're
like
not.
that, I don't like you. To be honest with you, I just don't. Like you're full of yourself. You're prideful. You're arrogant. You're kind of a jerk. I don't like people who do that. I just honestly, I gotta get that off my chest. I don't. You make me cringe. People who do that, and you really think you're helping the world. But if you would focus on what someone's doing right, that can correct someone better than anything else. Because immediately his weakness and his demeanor changed because I complimented the one thing he had right, and it helped him with the next person. I don't know what he did with the rest of his career, but that's not my responsibility. I'm going to sow good. I'm going to sow
Exactly.
love and respect and
Exactly.
honor where it is due. And you can find something that your spouse is doing right. After this is over, shut this off, get in your corner, pray in the spirit for a little bit and say, Lord, help me remember one good thing my spouse does. Find one good thing.
One good. If
And
you
then
can't find
compliment
one,
them on them.
if you can't find one good thing, either something's wrong with you or you ain't in the right situation. Okay, it should be one good thing.
Oh my gosh. But compliment them on that and watch things change.
Mm-hmm.
Make it a mission. Write them down. Say, I'm going to compliment my spouse one time every day about something and just see what changes. And if it starts to work, then maybe let me compliment them twice a day. Could I
Okay.
be so bold to do it 3 times
That's
a day?
that's a marriage nugget right there. That's a marriage nugget.
Yeah.
Compliment. Find a way to compliment your spouse at least one time a day. You can find something good. It could be either thank you for bringing my plate or thank you for, I don't know, not pulling the covers off the bed at night. You know, something.
Thank them for something they do all the time. I
Yeah.
forget what it was. It was something you did for me that you always do, but I just decided to thank you for it. And it wasn't like a big moment. We're pretty good at this, but like I think you made some kind of remark of like, okay, I always do this or something, but I decided to thank her because again, I see you. You're waiting for your spouse to do something amazing, to buy you a new ring, to come home and say, we made $1 million. You're looking for something big. Compliment them on the stuff they're doing every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes you take for granted. Thank you for giving the kids a shower. Thank you for putting them to bed. They do that every day. Doesn't matter. Thank them for it. Thank you. And it sounds like, thank you for always doing that because that makes my life easier. Thank you for cleaning the toilet. Thank you for cooking dinner tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you for sweeping up. Thank you for going to work today. Like, go to your husband like, thank you, because it's a relief to me that I don't have to do that. And here's what you're thinking. Well, I want him to recognize how hard it is to stay here
Yep.
with these kids.
Exactly.
We talk about this in marriage. You got to get over your self-centeredness. You got to be willing to give if you want your marriage to work. Compliment them in the way you would want to be
Give and
complimented.
it will come back to you.
Good measure, pressed down, shaking together, and running over.
Yep.
And treat others the way you want to be treated. Is that not the golden rule that Jesus gave us? So begin to compliment them the way and see them and respect them the way you wish someone would do to you. Sow that to somebody else because God sees you. Your Father in heaven will reward you. Jesus talked about it. He said, do this unto other people because your Father in heaven will see it. He'll see it. What you're doing in secret, he'll see it. And he'll reward you, whether through your spouse or somebody else. He's going to reward you for the good that you're doing.
Amen.
Because when you so appreciate, our pastor just talking on Sunday about complaining, how that gets you out of the will of God and gets you out of the blessing of God. When you complain, you will miss God is not like a complainer. Look at the Israelites in the desert. He did not like their complaining, and they missed out on some good stuff because they just could not appreciate what God had already done, and they were complaining about what he hadn't done yet. Are you doing that to your spouse? Are you failing to appreciate what they have already done and complaining about what they haven't done yet?
Complaining gets you nowhere, but in more trouble or just in more disrespect. The more you complain, you just find more reasons to complain. And if you just try to go 24 hours without complaining, you will realize just how much you do it.
Oh yeah.
You realize it, and we complain, and it can be such minor things, but you will realize if you make an effort to say, I'm not gonna complain today about anything, you'll realize just how much you complain. And if you're complaining about little things, you're complaining about your spouse.
Oh yeah.
And we all have a way of kind of like letting our spouse know that we disapprove what they're doing, even without really saying it. Our attitude change, our mannerisms, our facial expressions, what we will and will not do. They know that we don't like it, But if you just don't change your attitude towards them, that'll even shift the atmosphere in your home.
Yeah.
A lot. So be better about that. I mean, we can go on and on about respect, and respect is one of them things that, we hold a lot to. Again, don't be that person that if they don't respect me, I'm not giving it back to them. Don't be that person. Because that's literally you saying, I'm not going to show love if that person showed love to me. That's not Jesus at all. Okay. And when we're talking about respect, we're not talking about abuse, because I think people hear that too. Okay. We're not talking about abuse. I'm smacking him against his head all the time. I don't expect him to stay around. But I'm just saying, don't be that person that don't give love or give respect because the other person is disrespecting you.
And I want to say, going back to Jesus, when he got dishonored in his own town, he had to leave because they could not receive from him what he came to give them. And I want you to understand what you're losing when you dishonor your spouse. You are losing the gift that they are, because they're going to begin to close up. Yeah, it's just a thing, especially with men. I'm assuming it's with women too, but it's just a thing with men. Wherever we are dishonored, workplace, home, whatever, we begin to turn away our attention and our heart, and we begin to shut down very quickly. With when there's disrespect and dishonor happening, we begin to shut down. And so you wonder, why am I losing my husband? If you're a woman who is nagging him, quite honestly, constantly complaining about the things that you don't like that he does, small things, big things, whatever, each prick of that disrespect and that dishonor and that complaining just pushes him lower and lower, and it makes what it is it makes him feel like less of a man. So you're attacking self-esteem, but also if he has good esteem, he's not going to allow himself to be disrespected long term, and so he's going to turn away. He may not like leave you and divorce you, but he will turn away from you, and you'll wonder why he stops doing nice things from you. And it's on autopilot. Like, he may not even know he's doing it, but he'll begin to turn his heart away from you, and you'll wonder why you're losing your husband. It's because you're not treating him like your husband. And so understand that, like Jesus left his hometown and went to someone else could be getting, and I'm not talking about infidelity here, but someone else could be getting the best parts of your spouse because you're dishonoring them at home. And so people who do honor them, people are attracted to honor and to respect. And they're going to, the workplace, if he's getting respect there, that's going to get the best parts of him. And the worst parts of him is what you're going to get. You're going to get the leftovers, because we turn away where disrespect is. So Nazareth didn't get the best of Jesus. It said he can only do a few mighty works there, and then he left. He marveled at their unbelief, and he left. So their lack of honor made it so that they only got like the worst parts of Jesus' ministry, while other people were getting the best. And it was amazing what was happening in other places. But even in his hometown, they barely got anything. Yeah. They barely got any miracles. He did amazing things other places. So that's what you're losing out on. You're losing out on the gift of your spouse when you disrespect them and dishonor them. So it's vitally important that you not miss out in your own marriage and get the worst of your spouse through this.
So don't complain about the symptoms that your spouse is portraying. Try and investigate what is causing it. What's the underlying reason as to why they are the way they are. You really want to foster respect, figure it out. Yeah. Why is your spouse responding the way he does? Why he don't do the things that you think he ought to be doing? Figure it out, because to constantly complain about the symptoms or what he's not doing or what he is doing is annoying. That's annoying you. Is not going to fix the problem. It's not. It's like you have a cold, but you just keep, not attending to the root cause. Maybe it's because you're exposing yourself to unnecessary germs all the time. Whatever the cause, we see the symptoms, we don't like them, so we go do something about the root. Mm-hmm. We don't keep complaining about the symptoms. We go to the root. Oh, I got a cold. I got this. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the root of it and get it out, because I know that's going to cure the symptoms if I deal with the root cause of why I have these symptoms. So it's the same thing in marriage. If your spouse is doing things that get on your nerves or whatever, figure it out. Figure your stuff out too. I mean, your perspective. Seriously, ladies, I'm talking to the ladies. Be thankful. Find a position of thankfulness. I had to learn this early on, and I still practice this because at times, I get a little rusty, because of life situations. But when I find myself being constantly annoyed at my spouse or life in general, I ask myself, okay, when's the last time I just spent time being thankful of what I have and where God has brought us from? Being thankful for my husband, being thankful for what he's doing. Like, thankfulness will raise your position, will raise your point of view and perspective, and it will change your position of respect for your spouse, for your situation. Like, it would change you. Start being more thankful. Stop complaining and start being more thankful. And being respectful will be a lot easier when you do that. I promise you it will. It works every single time. Because again, I promise you, most of us complain a lot more than we give thanks.
Yeah. And that's just not a good way to live for God or for people. And it just makes you attract all the negative and worst things in life. You met people who are just negative and everything negative happens to them.
Yep.
And you met people who are positive that even when negative things are happening, they find the best in it and they just have a better life. Like some people got clouds on them, people got sunny skies on them,
Yep.
It's different for everybody. And I'm not saying that you should try to chase down respect from any and everybody. But in the context of your marriage, I'll speak to the husbands on this one. You can say something for the wives, but there are ways that you can generate respect from your wife, especially if you've done things, whether negative or whatever, that has led to a lack of respect, things like that. Because you can actively do things that, are deserving of disrespect. Not saying that that's the right way to handle your marriage, but, you've done things that make it hard. But there are ways you can generate respect. And it's particular to your spouse. What impresses them, I found out pretty quickly what gifts my wife likes and which ones she doesn't like. And I also found out that when I can surprise her with something she likes, that impresses her, because my wife doesn't like surprises.
I don't.
Because the problem is most people don't know what it is that she actually wants and the level of quality that she wants. So when they surprise her, it's something that she's not really interested in. And then she's got to try to pretend like she's okay, but it's hard for her to hide her face. And so she's the first time to have surprises. So I could have easily just been like, I'm never going to surprise you with things. A lot of times I don't. I just tell her what I'm doing. But other times I took it as a challenge. I'm going to surprise you, but you're going to like what I did because I get what you actually like. And so sometimes I pull things off, and it'll take some logistics of like the way I'll plant gifts somewhere. And what will happen is she'll ask, one year I got all the friends and family to create video messages for her birthday saying how much they loved and appreciated her. And I edited it all together. And I surprised her by turning it on the TV when we woke up in the morning. And she was like, in tears and things like that. And I even positioned where everybody was in the video based on I knew the emotional effect it would have on her. I saved the best for last. I put the funny stuff up front. Cause I know her. And it was I feel like one of the best gifts I gave her for one of her birthdays. And she was in tears.
It's on the top 5.
And so, but she was and one of the first questions I asked, like, how'd you do that? When'd you do that? And she wanted to know all the details. And when she asked that question, sometimes I'll give her details so she can see how much work went into it because it's impressive. Other times I'll let there be a mystery and be like, don't worry, I did. I figured it out. And just let it be up there because then it adds to the mystique of who I am. Like, okay, my husband can surprise me. He can pull this off. That kind of thing.
Not mystique.
Whatever. But you got to know your spouse, what they're interested in. So there are things you can do to impress your spouse. You can surprise them when they weren't expecting something, but you pull it off. So as a man, find out what your spouse likes, find what your wife is into, and find ways to impress her, surprise her with a gift, with an experience, with something that that she wasn't expecting you to do because she didn't think there was enough money there to do it. You weren't paying attention because you got so much going on. But if you can pull that off, that will not only increase affection, but it'll increase her respect, because like, oh, you were competent. You were listening to me when I said this, when I was interested in this. You saw me and you saw me. And you cared. So that's one way to generate respect.
Yeah, I think I might have said this on the last podcast, but do what your spouse likes. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking like, if she don't like flowers, don't bring her flowers. Yeah. Don't do that. Find out what she likes. Sometimes we want to impose our way on someone because that's what I want to do. I think you would like this, but they don't like it. And then when you don't get the respect for it that you think you should get, then we're upset. Then we're mad. And now I ain't gonna do nothing for you no more because you ungrateful.
Yep.
No, I just don't like that.
Yep.
And stop giving me that, because I now feel disrespected because you consistently give me stuff that I don't like.
Because that means you're not seeing them.
Yeah.
You're not listening. And we'll probably do a whole episode of romance, but the key to romance is a little nugget here. Is to do what you just said. Do what your spouse likes, not what you want them to like.
Yeah. Because
a lot of things that you're like, when I was a kid, my mom liked the Lincoln Logs play thing. It's like you build it like almost like Legos or whatever. And she would always, every Christmas, be like, you guys are interested in this? We walked down toy aisle. You guys weren't? Because she thought it was cool. And we were just like, nah, we were never interested. Me and my brother, we just didn't, we never got them. She finally got it for her grandson, my son. He likes them. So it's funny. I was like, you finally got what you wanted, Mom. But like sometimes even with kids, like you want your kids to be into the sport you're into, into the TV shows you like, into the music you like, and they're not interested, and it's annoying. But it's like they like what they like. And so when you're throwing a kid's birthday party, you give them what they like. You don't give them what you want them to have. We do that with kids, hopefully, if you're a good parent. Your spouse too. You may think this will be a great experience. We took this trip. This would be a great gift. Somebody would appreciate this. But do they appreciate it?
Yeah, that's how respect is not found.
Yep.
Because you're just not listening. You're not paying attention. There's so like, I'm not a big jewelry person. My husband knows that. He learned this. If he buys me jewelry, it's because I said something. I want this. But I'm very simple, very basic. Y'all see me wear the same earrings every single day. I'm very simple. So he bought me a necklace one time, and he thought, well, it's pretty much it was like a heart necklace.
It was a birthstone.
It was emerald, and it was cute. It was pretty, but I was like, it didn't do anything for me. And I know somebody would say, well, Casey, you're ungrateful. You should appreciate it. He bought you jewelry, girl. I would love somebody to buy me jewelry, but I'm not a jewelry person. Why would you do that? But when he brought home the wings and a cheeseburger, yes, and I wasn't expecting it, and it's from the place, my favorite restaurant that I like. What? Like, you should have seen the smile on my face. I was happy because he took time to really find out what I like, and that made me happy.
I think it's for both of us. When we both surprise each other with something that we actually like, and against the key to romance, what your spouse actually likes, we both turn little kids. We get a smile on our face. And it's a smile you get that I've seen a picture of you as a little girl, and you look like that little girl. And I'm sure vice versa, I get this little kid look when you tap into your spouse's little inner little kid.
Yeah,
that's romance. That's when you're able to activate them and say, oh, you saw me, you appreciate me. Find out what they like and do that. And look, there's a lot of people complaining online because like, women are ungrateful, men are ungrateful. I do all this stuff. Don't you know that I take care of these kids? They don't want none of that. The things you do that supply their needs is not the same thing as a gift.
Yeah.
The bare minimum is not what they want. Yes, every day you're in there cleaning the house, whatever like that, blah, blah, blah. But they asked you for sex and you said no. They wanted the sex. They didn't want you to clean the house. The house could have been trash piled in the middle of the floor. But if you had been intimate with them when they wanted it, that's what they wanted. Your wife said that she wants to take a vacation. So you came home with flowers. And it didn't do much. You bought her a gift for her birthday. And it didn't do much. But you're out there working. You're bringing all the money home. And she can order from Amazon without a problem. And you got all the subscriptions and things like that. And you're like, I'm affording you a life where you can stay home. You don't got to work. But guess what? You didn't give her a vacation yet. She wants the vacation. She's been telling you for 12 years she wants the vacation. And you still ain't done it yet. Well, I don't think it's important. Bingo. You look at it from your perspective. She thinks it's important. This is what she wants. And romance is giving your spouse what they want. You give them what they want, then they'll appreciate it. Romance is super easy. Just give your spouse what they want.
And
But
even
you gotta
and,
listen.
and even if you're at a position where you're like, we can't afford the vacation, but if you're talking about it, say, babe, I hear you. I see. Let's plan one that we can do right now.
Here's an envelope. We're gonna put money in there.
Yeah.
And we're gonna plan this vacation. She'll get excited.
Yeah, exactly. And you can plan it, and as long as we stay within this confines, whatever, give her something, like do something towards what your spouse likes. When we first got married, or before we got married, you was into anime, you and your brother anime, and I was like, what is this anime thing? My brother and I watched Dragon Ball growing up, but I still wasn't that big into it. But I saw that you was into it and you liked it. At first I was like, no. But eventually, because I started caring about you and I wanted to find a way to find an interest in the things that you find interest in, I started watching anime with you. Now I like anime almost as much as you do. Maybe not on the same level, but I like it, and we can get together. Now we watch it together. We have conversations about it. It's what we do. But I found that draw respect, because now you're looking at me like, oh, she's willing to sit through something that she really don't like, but because she loves me and respects me, she's gonna do this for me. So I gave him something that he likes, and I wasn't gonna let some other girl. We went to Comic-Con, things like that, and there's a lot of girls in there who into anime, and they can talk about it the way he talks about it, and I'm sitting there like, oh no, oh no, you're not gonna be that person for my husband. I'm gonna learn about anime. Okay, it's like, no, but I'm just saying, like, there's so many ways we can show respect in our relationship, and one of those big things is doing what your spouse like. Just finding a way to do what they like from time to time, and it can go a long way in your relationship. We do have a comment.
Yeah, so we'll wrap up the discussion. But yeah, we need to do an episode on romance, because some people be struggling. It's like, it's actually not that hard if you're listening to your spouse. All right, so let's go one by one. Check out the comments here. All right, we've got Fatala in the chat saying, women, girl, you're ungrateful. Man, I wish my wife didn't like jewelry. There you go.
Hey, everybody's different.
Yep.
Everybody's different.
Exactly. Because look, jewelry is one of those more expensive things. So if you get a woman who, but here's the thing. Here's how it gets offset. Although my wife doesn't like jewelry, you're like, oh, Jalen, you can save a lot of money. Yeah, but she likes technology.
I'm about to say, I like tech.
She didn't like the emerald necklace. She did like the Samsung Galaxy smartwatch I got her. She liked the new earbuds I got her. She likes technology. So whatever money I'm saving on the jewelry, I'm spending on the technology.
Exactly.
When we got the new phone or whatever, there was one time I did a gift like that. I was like, all right, let's get the new phone, the new Galaxy, whatever. So she likes tech. So it's kind of a wash on that. But yeah, she's not a big jewelry girl. She's really not. So it's all perspective. Some people would wish that they had a wife that was, I wish she liked the simple things, or I wish, but stop trying to, reverse engineer and get your perfect spouse. You got who you got. You got to work with.
Exactly. You said yes. You walked down the aisle for her.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. We had Anita on Instagram saying, give honor to whom honor is due. That is right. And let's see. Okay, the rest of these are the comments that we got to not respond to, but do our responses to.
Can you look at me real quick? Because this been bothering me.
What? Something
It's always something on your eyes.
Yeah, it appears even after I get out the mirror.
Okay.
Stuff appears like halfway through the day. It happens. All right. But let's shout out first off our channel memberships. Again, if you're watching in the chat, just leave a comment and let us know you're there. I did not check TikTok if there was any comment. I don't see a comment on TikTok. Okay, cool. But shout out to everybody who is watching. Leave a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. All right. So I'm going to drop the Linktree link again in regards to these channel memberships, because everything that we talk about, all the links can be found in our Linktree. So go ahead and check that out. And if you're on Facebook, it's in the link to the left of the chat. Just hit that little link symbol. All right, so let's get into our channel memberships. All right, so Marriage U is the platform that exists on both Facebook and YouTube, and it's only $2.99 a month. If you become a Marriage U, the School of Marriage channel member, you get access to all of this right here. So these are all the trainings that we've done, and we now do monthly trainings, monthly live trainings where you can interact with us as we are teaching whatever that course is. So we've got all these trainings that you would get access to today if you signed up and became a channel member for just $2.99. Now on YouTube, it's called channel memberships. There's a join button right there on YouTube, or you can scan this QR code. And on Facebook, it's called subscriptions, and you can become a Facebook subscriber. QR code is right there, or there's a join button right there if you're watching this on Facebook. Those are the two platforms where you can access Marriage U. Again, it is $2.99 a month to access, and you become this recurring member to Marriage U, the School of Marriage. Now, the next training we have coming up is this month. And I think that's next week, right? Yeah. February 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's a Thursday. We're doing the training called Eye to Eye, how to solve disagreements and get on the same page. So as we talk about everything on these broadcasts on the Jalen and Casey show, there's a common thread of communication, how to sit down and talk. And we have learned there's a lot of people who don't know how to talk.
Yep.
People who don't know how to talk to their spouse.
We don't know how to do it.
If you don't know how to talk without an argument, if you don't know how to get on the same page, you guys don't know how to sit down and write out your vision and your plan for the year, for your life, for your kids, whatever, we're going to teach you how. We have many disagreements all throughout our marriage, but one thing we know how to do is communicate. We know how to sit down and work something out. And so we want to teach you how to see eye to eye on issues and matters and how to talk to your spouse. So we want you to go ahead and sign up for Marriage U so that you can get that live broadcast. The only way to watch that training and to participate and leave comments in it is to become a channel member. So scan one of those QR codes, hit the join button on YouTube or Facebook, $2.99 a month, become a channel member and get access to Eye to Eye on Thursday, February 26th. And all these other previous trainings as well. And of course, every new training we do live monthly because that is the schedule that we're on. So go ahead and become a channel member. Shout out to all of our current channel members. Our newest channel member, Cozy Crochet Co. Thank you for being a channel member. Shout out to Sweet Lips, Erica, Johnny Trying To, Envisioning Her, Samantha Hughes, Super King Zell and 7, Joy 3 Grace, and Ashanti Activities. You have been a channel member for 5 months. So thank you.
Wow. Okay, we got some new ones out there. I didn't see.
Yeah. Some of these were the when we gave away some to people.
Okay, cool,
so
cool.
I think we got about 9 channel members on YouTube, and we do have one on Facebook. Forgive me, I would shout you out, but I don't know where to go to find your name. But we do have also a subscriber on Facebook as well. So thank you to everybody who has gone ahead and become channel member subscribers. You'll be getting access to Eye to Eye when that happens on Thursday. We're excited for that. So be there. You can watch the replay, but we would love it if you were there in the chat, participating and asking questions.
But you only can watch the replay as a channel member.
Yeah, you could live or replay, exclusive to channel members. You cannot get access to it any other way. Those are our exclusive Marriage U School of Marriage training. So we appreciate y'all. All right, what do we want to do next? I know we want to do comments.
Go ahead and do the comments.
Okay,
yep,
so we're gonna. This is the part of the show where we find out what people are yelling about in the comments on our videos. So let's go find out what's going on.
You're my girl. You're the type of woman to make a man get.
All right, so we're gonna find out what y'all talking about. So let me pull up a comment first, and then we can. I know I saw it. Oh, this one is funny to me. You probably shouldn't even get into this discussion, but people are funny to me. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna play the video and then we're gonna get into it. Let me pull up the screen so that you guys can see what's happening.
Make sure they hear it.
Yeah, I think you should be able to hear it just fine.
If y'all can't hear stuff, let us know.
Yeah. Always let them. We'll play a whole video and you won't even know what's going on. As soon as I find my thing, where's my stuff at for the browser? There we go. Sorry, y'all. I'm struggling. Okay, there we go. So you guys should be able to see this right about now. All right, there we go. Sorry for the delay. All right, let's play this.
He's not on board with it, I'm not moving on it.
Yep.
And there have been times where he would say, babe, I'm not sure about that, but I'm like, but I want to do it. And he'll say, okay, I'll let you do it. And then it didn't work out because I didn't have his agreement. Well, you don't need a man's permission. No, I need his agreement. He's not on board.
All right, so this was from our video, Becoming One, where we had a whole discussion about oneness and all that. And you were telling a story about how, you would try to do things without me and it just wouldn't work. And so you realized you needed my agreement. And we realized both spouses need your spouse's agreement to get it done. Mm-hmm. And really independent people argue about, well, I don't want to feel like I'm bound and I don't need my spouse's permission, stuff like that. And you were calling out that the key word here is agreement is what you need.
Not permission.
It's agreement, because you could permit somebody to do something and not be in agreement. Mm-hmm. There were times in our marriage where I had an idea and you would say, okay, let's go for it. You would just go along with it. That was permission, but then it wouldn't work out because your agreement was not there. Agreement is spiritual. And so that's what we're talking about. But, and this is funny to me. People have issues. Oh, where did it? Oh, let me go to all comments. Because I guess even Facebook wanted to hide it because it was so weird. Someone said, all black women wear wigs despite what black men think. And so here's the thing. Whenever you do, and this happens all the time, the videos where you say something positive about a man or husbandry or something like that, and that's kind of like goes against this feminist attitude, the men love it.
What does my wig got to do anything with it?
No. He's not talking about your wig. He's just. Well, I'm about to get to the point. One thing these men do, they love the video, but they use it as an opportunity to trash all women because they just have these grievances against women. They ain't even married, but they just misogynist and hate women, and they use that as an opportunity to trash women. They'll pump you up, but they'll be trashing women. And so what he's saying is that black women don't listen to men and they wear wigs because they're so independent and they want to wear it, even though black men don't want them to. And I'm like,
well, my black men don't care.
I'm saying, did you poll all black men?
My black
did we all
men
say we don't
care.
like wigs? Like, I've never but what I just find funny is people see the world through their lens and just think that everyone sees it the way they see it. And we talked about this. People will watch your video and use it to piggyback off of to air their grievance with society and the world. It has nothing to do with
Well, for
you.
one thing, that comment really doesn't go along with what that video was talking about. I'm talking about permission versus agreement. And just to make the record very, very clear, I don't need permission for my husband to do anything. You know, I am still an individual person. He's not my father. But agreement is more valuable to me than permission. Because in agreement, God can get in agreement. When two come together and agree, that's when things happen. And when you are in marriage, you cannot treat marriage like your single life. And a lot of people just have a hard time believing that because they see marriage as two people come together and forming a LLC, a corporation or something. Like we're partners, but we're very individual. No, marriage is about one. Marriage is one of the greatest covenants because it's one of the only covenants that require both parties to be the exact same person and have the exact same viewpoint on issues that require agreement. So when I'm out in the world and I want to start a business, I want to do something, I need my husband's agreement because he is my head. He's a leader of this family and I'm part of this family. I'm carrying this man's name for one thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. And I need his backing. So he needs to be in agreement with what I'm doing and vice versa. It's not, we see it, women, we get very up on arms about this because we've been so inundated with our self-value, men subjugating us and I don't submit to a man because we don't have an understanding what submission is. And we've been abused in that regard by ungodly men. I grant you that. But when you get revelation of what that is, those words are not scary because you understand the power behind them.
Yep. Exactly.
So,
100%.
but first of all, my wig, what's the wig got to do with anything? I know what you're saying, but it's just annoying to me when people say stuff that's so like, bro, what are you talking about?
All right.
Next comment.
This one is, where is it? Oh, here we go. All right, I'll play this one.
Don't freak out when things aren't clicking the way they used to when y'all was dating, when you was engaged. Don't freak out. You're normal. Don't run for the hills. Don't run back home to daddy and mama because, you feel safe there. Weather it. Get together. Hold hands. Hold each other. Pray for each other. Cry. Scream. Holler. Whatever you got to do to get through it. But make sure that the word is the final authority in your relationship and you will overcome. Be willing to fight and you will win.
All right. So this person said, and I'm going to delete the expletives, but it's like, what's seriously the difference? How does giving your person a ring make things worse? So basically saying, what is it about marriage that makes things so much harder than when you were single? Like what changes? What all you doing is putting a ring on somebody's finger. And what's interesting is they must have watched several of our videos from this video because this was a Newlywed Struggle video. So they seem to have some actually knowledge of what we're talking about. They're just really confused as to how. Well, one, it's not like marriage is this horrific prison, terrible thing or anything like that. But there is something to when you get married, something changes. And whether they were seriously asked a question or not, it's just a great opportunity to talk about this. When you get married, there's something that happens after I do. And it can only be described as something spiritual because it doesn't make logical sense. You would think, hey, we've been living together, we've been dating, whatever, for 10 years, and then we get married. Ain't no big deal. Just put a ring on the finger, write a certificate, and move on. However, statistically, people will do that for years, shacking up, get married and get divorced and separate. And it was like, dang, they did better when they were not married. It's because marriage belongs to God.
Exactly.
He created it.
You playing with covenant at this
Exactly.
point. And if you're not equipped to handle covenant, it's gonna fail.
Yeah.
God don't honor or even pay attention to y'all dating stuff. Marriage, he knows.
Yep.
Because that's what he established. So now you playing in his field,
Yep.
and if you don't have what it takes, it's gonna be hard for you.
Yeah, you're playing with God's stuff. When you
Yep.
start playing with God's stuff and it's honoring God's stuff, not to mention the devil hates marriage, so warfare opens up on you. You don't even gotta be saved.
Yep.
But he wants to destroy marriage regardless. That whole 50% divorce rate, if it's still that or not, I don't know. But it's like, that's not all to save people. The devil just hates the institution of marriage because something God created. He hates things whether you're saved or unsaved, but if you're using something that is destructive to his kingdom, and that's what people don't realize. Marriage is not just a piece of paper. It's not just a ring. It is a covenant, but it is an institution God created to destroy the devil's kingdom and to build his kingdom.
Yep.
And so the devil comes after it really fast, very hard. Now, if you're constantly playing in the realm of fornication, you're building devil's kingdom. So you're on self-check. He ain't really worried about you. But the moment you step into God's domain, you've opened up the opportunity for the power of agreement, for the power of boundaries, communication, and that's all dangerous to the devil. And so, yes, you open up some spiritual warfare, and you don't got to believe in the devil. You don't got to believe in God.
Exactly.
Don't change the fact that it's real. You don't believe in gravity. Gravity is still real. So that's what happens. That's what changes when you get married.
And I think from a more carnal level, when people put a ring on it and they say I do, they feel bound. They feel like they're in jail. They can't escape. That's why dating the wrong way is so wrong and not good, because you have one foot in, one foot out, and I can leave without any real attachment or commitment or any real loss, at least to yourself. You feel like I'm not going to lose a whole lot. But the moment you attach yourself to somebody, change your name, all those things, you feel bound and you feel like, oh my gosh, I can lose everything, which is what you should actually feel, but in confines of marriage. Yes, because this is covenant. Who I am becomes who you are. And this is covenant. And covenant feels like that. It's a burden. And I don't say that in a negative way. But again, if you're ill-equipped and don't understand what marriage is, it's going to feel like something you can't do, and you're going to want to run from it.
Exactly, 100%. So don't play with marriage if you ain't
ready
trying to be married.
Exactly.
All right, let's go to Hot Topic. I didn't get the video ready. Let's talk about the Audible trial while I get the video ready.
I thought you said you had the video ready.
I do have the video. I just ain't ready.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Talk about the Audible.
All right. So Audible is our sponsor for this podcast. We love Audible because it is how we started our marriage, and reading things that helped our marriage, like sheet music. Even when we were working on conceiving our son, we read a book called Supernatural Childbirth. All these things, we did it through Audible because it allows couples to read books together. It's also a great way of starting conversations that are hard. We listen to these books and we pause and we had conversations, and that is how Jayla and Casey became to be. So if you want to get in on that, Audible has given our listeners and our viewers a free trial, a 30-day free trial. All you have to do is go to audibletrial.com/Jalen and Casey. Make sure you spell the name right, and you would get 30 days of Audible for free.
You can get that by hitting the link tree that we dropped in the chat, or on Facebook to the left, hit that link button and go ahead and get yourself a free trial for 30 days. All right, so Hot Topic, and I'll run the graphic.
You're my girl, you're the type of woman to make a man get right.
You asked for those graphics.
I did ask for the graphics, and you know what? I feel very respected. I feel very respected for giving me those graphics.
My goodness. All right. So let's just check this out. And real quick, I want to acknowledge, apologies for the stream. It looks like for the first time, my internet's been lagging. We have some drop frames and some skipping, so I appreciate everyone who stuck around anyway. But anyway, this Hot Topic is going to be based on a video. And I don't believe there was any profanity in it. If there is, apologies for that, but it's not like a believer talking. But it's a topic that we found interesting. We're like, hey, let's talk about this and get our opinions on this. And we want your opinions on this too. So let me pull this up, and let's go ahead and play this video.
And this is about parenting, something that we obviously are in the early phases of parenting. We have a 5-year-old, but I think that's something we're going to talk about real soon, is about parenting, especially for first-time parents, things like that. And, you know, once you have a child, your perspective about life really changes once you have children. If anybody in the comments have children, let us know how many children you have and their ages, and let me know once you had a child, did the world seem different to you once you had a child?
Yeah. Let's play this.
Do you believe that consumers nowadays are burned out?
No, I think we were bombarded with advertising before. You got to remember, in 1960, 70, 80, television had all the attention, magazine had all the attention, newspaper had all the attention,
That's right.
radio had all the attention, and by percentage, there was more ads against content back then than now.
Really?
Because humans make so much more content. This is where people get it twisted, and we've fallen in love with romanticizing yesteryear and demonizing today.
That's a good point.
No, I think that parenting needs to be called out of the last 40 years.
What do you mean?
I believe that the burnout, the insecurity, all the stuff we talk about, I believe the reason we're buying more stuff is we're using it as Band-Aids and glitter because we're not strong enough to be secure in what we are and who we are and what we have. And people are gonna say, oh, it's social media and this. We grew up with Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
That's a fact.
MTV Cribs had plenty of run.
That's a fact.
We knew about others.
Magazines, newspapers,
Half my high school
billboards,
I love when
with cars and pretty women and
Nate.
guys with their shirt off.
Nate, half the girls in my high school were in the bathroom throwing up because Kate Moss was the idol and you needed to be 88 pounds. We don't talk about that no more. We want to blame technology for a much bigger issue, which is modern parenting misstepped. We don't hold kids accountable. We don't ground. We definitely don't whoop.
He said,
Right?
whoop.
That's a fact. Yeah, we don't whoop.
We let kids, Nate, do you understand that this is real, what I'm about to say. I was scared to even think about disrespecting my mom because I was scared she could see it on my face as a thought.
And then you're just gonna get your ass whooped.
Do you understand what every parent, I'm gonna poke right at the bear right now. Do you know what these parents are allowing their 13 and 15-year-old kids to say to them? We have lost and then we're sending these kids into the real world and we're wondering why they're depressed. They're depressed because they weren't taught any accountability, 8th place trophies for everyone. We have demonized losing when losing is the teacher.
Losing is the teacher.
Losing is the teacher and we're out here like, oh, you tried, you get a trophy too. No. I'm mad at silver and bronze medals, let alone 8th place trophies. And now let me blow your complete mind off as someone who gets tens of thousands of DMs from 20 to 30-year-olds every month. And they're mad at their parents for taking care of them as grown-ups.
Ooh.
We have 25-year-olds walking around Earth being tracked by 25-year-old men being tracked by their mom on 360.
That's crazy.
It's at scale, by the way. You will be shook when you learn
That's
it.
crazy.
They're getting paid for by their parents. Our generation, a lot of people watching right now, if you got a little help from your parents back in the 70s, 80s, 60s, early 90s, you borrowed money from mom and dad as a new couple and you paid them back.
That's true.
We all know.
That's true.
Now, these kids are on the payroll their whole lives.
All right, so thoughts on that? And he hit a lot of different topics there, but well, I guess we could go through one by one. But let's go back to the advertisements thing and social media and all of that. I think he's probably factually correct about the more ads it gets content because we just have more content now.
Yeah, and think about it, we get it at a faster rate than we did back in the 90s, things like that. But it was still there.
Yeah, it was there. I do think, and maybe I disagree with him on this one, that it is worse now. That just because of the smartphone. I think the smartphone was the thing that changed it. I think we had TVs and people were concerned about TVs. They were like, our kids are stuck looking at the one-eyed demon, the TV. Then the computer came out and you had internet, but you had dial-up, stuff like that.
But is it worse?
High speed.
It's worse because of access.
Yes. So, but I think the smartphone
ease of
did
access.
change everything. We reached a point to where the mental health decline went down and people's attention spans went down and the dopamine drip and all that stuff. And these social media sites began to be retooled to keep people scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no matter how much you try to keep someone on a website on a computer that was at home, it was at home. Nobody was going to be at home all day. They were going to go out. So there's only so much you could do. You could try to dominate their home time.
And if you did, you was kind of considered a weirdo if you sat in front of your computer all day long.
Your life would
decrease. That wasn't work related.
Well, I'm saying your life would decrease because there wasn't remote working back then like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it really wasn't an option. But once we got in our pockets, then the social media sites began to re-engineer for, let's keep you up to 24/7 because you'll do it while you're at work even. in a way that, you know, they may be monitoring your computer search history, but they're not necessarily monitoring your phone. Just stay off their Wi-Fi. So you can just do whatever all day, every day. So I do think it's worse. Maybe it's not as many ads, but it's not the ads that are the problem. I think social media and our addiction to phones is a unique problem that we have not been into yet. So that's where I say on that issue. But then we have the kids thing and all that, how he talked about
parenting is definitely different today. I see my generation, you know, the millennial generation, I consider myself a upper class millennial because I mean, I'm at the start of this thing. And I was raised by, not boomers, were they boomers? Yeah, I was raised by boomers. And so they had a different level of respect for family, authority, things like that they instilled in me. And I did not talk back to my mama or my daddy. Like, I came from the generation that you were seen but not heard. And there may be some psychological issues with that as well. But nonetheless, I knew when to talk and when not to talk. And I knew how to talk. My dad was a stickler about how we talk to adults. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. Our vocabulary had to be a certain way. My dad was stickler about those types of things. Learning how to wait and be patient, not feeling like you're owed something just because. So I didn't grow up with that mentality that I see in Gen Z now. And I've had to learn over the years to give a lot of grace to the generation because I'll be honest with you, I was offended because I'm like, you're so disrespectful. And yes, some are, but I also had to understand that they're just being what they were taught. They don't even perceive themselves as being disrespectful because the rules have changed for them. And like, customer service sucks. Like, if I get a young person to like look at me and smile and have some sort of energy when they're talking to me, it's a delight. Because I find that most kids today, they have this baseline to hear. There's no energy. There's no real emotion or expression when they're doing their work. It's just, I'm here. And I feel like they think as long as they're not cussing me out, they're showing me respect. Yeah. You know,
how do you feel about the whole kids losing and things like that? Like not allowing kids to lose, basically trying to give everybody participation trophies and things like that. Like, when you were growing up, how did your parents handle that?
I think it's okay when they're 1, 2, 3 years old. Like, we put our son in rec ball and things like that, and you know they don't know what they're doing. They don't know the game. They don't know what win or losing is at all. But when they get to a point when they understand the consequences of something. So if you do this, you get that. If you don't do that, you don't get that. I think it's important that we teach our children consequences, and we learn that through winning and losing. It doesn't mean that you are a bad person. It just means that you have something to work towards. So if you're constantly rewarding loss, they lose a sense of having to work towards betterment. So yeah, I'm anti that because I can remember, you know, my mom, she was big on teaching us how to read. Very early, all my siblings and I, we were reading at 4 minimum. We was like 4 years old, 3 and 4 reading on like first and second grade level because my mom was big on that. My sister had, my young sister, she won a whole award on reading. Now I could read too. I'm like, I could read, but I didn't, whatever reason, I didn't get the trophy, you know. But what it did is make me want to be better at what I was doing and not feel like, well, I get one too because I can too. And I showed up too. But how did you show up? That matters. Because that teaches children entitlement instead of learning how that I need to be a little better.
And I think also, it also teaches you what you're good at and you're not good at. Cause the other problem is, you know, and we say this with like standardized testing, like not every kid's brain works the same, so everybody's trying to be taught the same way. And I get that. But it's also, I think, a coming up point to understand like, okay, this is just not something I have natural talent for.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not good at
oh my
sports.
God, I can talk about that.
I don't have that. And it's okay. I can play to my strengths, you know? And I think there's a whole thing, and maybe no one's ever got it all right. Some people have. But you like, for example, you don't want your kid's entire mental stability based on their performance because like I'm a good basketball player, but if I don't make the league or if I lose a championship, my identity is lost and I'm in depression. You don't want that.
Yeah.
At the same time, you don't want them to feel like I can phone it in and I get the same reward as everyone else. And then when they get in the workplace, they're trying to figure out why they always get passed over promotion and they feel like, oh, they're just against me. It's like, no, you don't do anything. You don't put any work in. So like you're trying to find that balance of this. Your work isn't your identity, but hard work does pay results and dividends, and it's a requirement.
Yeah.
But also understanding these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses. Let me play to my strengths and surround myself with people who can support my weaknesses. And that's, I think, that maybe the whole global picture of it and figuring that out as a parent. But yeah, so I think sometimes it's a positive motivation for not wanting your child to feel bad when they've lost because you don't want them losing their whole identity over something. But sometimes if you live in a real world, when you lose out on something, it is real.
Well, I think it's how you present it to them. It's all about how you teach them about losing. Losing doesn't mean that you're a loser. You know, you don't have to have loser as your identity.
Yeah.
It just, again, it builds character and lets them know that there's always room to grow. And it does help them to figure out what they're really good at and what they're not. And it won't waste a lot of time working on something that's not really for them. My dad, I felt loved by my father. But if you knew him and saw him in action, you probably think, man, he's harsh. But my dad was very, very cut and dry. God bless his soul. He's in heaven now. He's probably looking down on me like, girl, you tell all my business. But I can remember going to him like, Dad, I think I want to do this. And he was like, I don't think that's for you. And I got a little bit hurt for a little bit. But he was like, look, babe, look, I think you're good at this. Try this for a while. And then, if this don't work out, we'll tweak it. But I appreciate my father for always being super cut, dry, honest with me and my ability. Because I really believe that it allowed me to have a real perspective about who I am and what I can and cannot do. It's okay that you can't do everything. But what you can do it with excellence. And that's basically what he taught me. And so I feel like I have a realistic viewpoint of my talents and my gifts. And I'm not going to talk about anything I really can't do well. Like, we just not, and it kept me very humble. And he taught me how to do everything with the grace of God. So it, to me, helped me develop to be a more balanced person. And I understand that nothing's owed to me. Absolutely nothing's owed to me. It's by the grace of God that I have anything that I have. And it's by the work that I put into the things that I'm into.
Yeah, sorry, I'm checking the stream. We have a lot of drop frames right now. I don't know what's going on with the internet today. Should I complain?
No.
To the internet service provider.
Thank God for the ones that's hanging on.
Yeah, praise God. But no, yeah, I think it's just an interesting topic. Yeah, we may do more parenting-based things and things like that. But anybody who's a parent, like, try to navigate these things. Like, I don't want to traumatize my child. Like, we didn't even know that word back in the day.
No.
Growing up in the 90s, we didn't know about no traumatizing.
Look, life
just happened.
Basically, I guess we all trauma. We all got trauma.
But, I think we appreciate the way our parents raised us. And maybe they got some things right and some things wrong, whatever. But we're still here. And, as I go through life, I realize how hard life can be. And I wish I had more mental toughness.
Yes.
I'm like, dang, like, is there more that I could have had that my parents didn't give me? Because it's not a cakewalk.
It's rough in these streets, and we want our children to have resilience and be mentally tough and be able to handle things and understand that there's a proper way of handling your emotions and an improper way of handling them, and teaching them and giving them that skills. More than anything is give them Jesus, but even teaching them how to even navigate that space as well.
Well, yeah, because again, like, nothing's going to be easy or just handed to you. And so if your child thinks that, they're definitely going to miss out on everything.
Absolutely.
And, we try to give our child a happy life. But it's like you're not responsible for that past a certain age.
No, you're not.
And so what's more important than giving them a happy life as a child is giving them the tools to build their life as an adult.
Exactly.
You got to train them how to handle life. And I think maybe that's something that many parents maybe miss. And I want to make sure I get right with my son is that I'm training you how to build your life, because it's going to be a point where it's all on you at this point.
Yep.
And if you don't know how to speak to God for yourself, you don't know how to hear from him for yourself, you don't know how to use the word to walk by faith, you don't know how to walk in love and deal with people and communicate, then you're going to be in trouble. And I may have given you a safe life, but if you feel like when you get out in the world, your first reaction is, I want to come back home to where it's safe, then I've done something wrong. I may have given you a good, happy home life, but now you'd rather come back here than face the trouble of life and build your own. The happy life you have at home should make you want to go build your own yourself.
Exactly.
And I think that's what we got to make sure we get right with our children is that I'm going to help you. I'm going to show you a good life, but now you're going to go build your own. I mean, look, we had financial issues and we had to go to our parents to ask for help. And we got to a certain point where we said, nope, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to figure it out. We're going to trust God for ourselves because the money that we're asking for from our parents, they got from trusting God and working and whatever they did to get it. So unless we feel like we're deficient in some way, we have the same ability to trust God.
And if I want the
work and do
respect
ourselves.
of my parents,
True.
I need to be able to stand on my own 2 feet and
true.
do this. So, yeah.
Yeah, so we got to that point. I was like, no, we just got to figure it out, and it may hurt and it may be uncomfortable, but we're going to do it, and we're better for it. We're tougher for it, and I think that's what we need just in the world of today is toughness and a real understanding of what the world actually is. And I'll use that as a convenient segue into Friday's broadcast. We were not doing the Education Show. It is Inside the Conversation. That is our show where we sit down on the couch and talk and let you come into the conversation that we have. And for the next several weeks, it's going to be some controversial stuff. So we're going to talk about, I feel like these next several weeks that we have a wrong view of the world and of God and how this world really works. And we're not tough enough about some things. So last week we talked about a lot of political, social matters. And on Friday, we're going to be talking about the LGBTQ movement. The
rainbow people.
The revolution. And how God feels about that and how we as believers should be handling it in our cultures and our societies and with our children and our families and our churches. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that, and it's going to be pretty spicy, I believe. So I believe the title is God versus LGBTQ plus. So we're going to talk about it. So here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, we're going to talk about it, and prayerfully our broadcast will be protected, and no one's going to take too much issue with it. But it is what it is.
Don't care.
We're going to do what we're going to do.
All right, so we have less than 20 minutes left of the broadcast. Do we want to do a game?
We can do a game.
We can do a game?
Yeah, we can do a game.
All right.
I don't know if we do it for 20 minutes, but we're going to do a game.
All right. So the last game we played was Push the Button game. We really did like that one. So we're going to do that one again because that was pretty fun.
Yep.
That was pretty fun.
I guess I could just bring this up on the screen where everyone can see it. But no, this site runs way too many ads. And I don't want y'all seeing on the mask because I can't control what all the ads are. And man, the internet's moving slow. Good Lord. Praise God. All right, here we go. Will you press the button? You can go back in time with the ability to personally save any one person from their original death, but you'll be stuck back in time period for the rest of your life. Ooh.
So I can go back in time
and save any historical figure, but you're stuck in a time
historical figure.
period. Well, it just said one person. I guess you could choose anybody. I mean, you could choose a family member, I guess, but I'm thinking in terms of a historical figure because you're stuck in a time period.
I'm going to always want to save my father. I mean,
I guess it wouldn't be that bad to be stuck back then.
it depends on how far I want to go back, though.
Oh, true.
Because I would want to go back to a point where he was healthy and save him and pretty much like change the trajectory of his life.
But then you'd be leaving me and JJ.
I would believe in JJ, but I had to have faith that y'all will be there for me.
What you mean?
But won't I continue to move forward in life, though?
Yeah, but at your current age.
Oh, I got to be at this age.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're going back in time.
I thought I was like.
No. This is like them. What's the show with the people and the Scottish people, the Outlander, whatever. Like
okay,
that.
no.
You're going back.
Dad, you in heaven. You in a good place. You're in a good place. I love you.
There's no one in history.
No.
That needs to be saved that badly. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think most people are like, oh, I'll go back and save Adam and Eve.
Nah.
But I'm stuck there.
Well, then you'd be stuck in paradise and you can stop that from happening.
But yeah, I would be alive. I would never die though, because I would have eternal life.
It would be kind of weird. How would that even work, being on the planet in a fallen state? Would you? That's one of them. Then
first of all,
is this?
First of all, I wouldn't even be able to be allowed to in the garden because.
Oh yeah, an angel would immediately like murder.
Yeah.
You. But is this sin? Is this sinful flesh?
Because he think I'm with Satan at this point.
Like you don't look right.
I ain't got no glory on this body. I'm coming in with full clothes on. What is these materials?
Well, they might still recognize the blood of Jesus though. They might still recognize. You might be all right.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so interesting. But then once you stop from happening, do you get erased from the timeline? or you just a paradox and you're the one falling.
Well, why would I be erased? I was already in his loins.
I know that, but you would not be the you are now. That's the whole paradox, the bootstrap paradox.
Yeah.
Because you would not be the you are now. So the easiest way to fix that is you just become a paradox. Where,
Okay, yeah, so no, I'm not pressing that button. I'm not pressing the button. It's too many variables.
I will not. Let's see what the results are. Y'all tell us in the chat what y'all would do. Most people chose no. 59% said they're not going to press the button.
Yeah, it's too many variables for that one.
Yeah.
It sounds good at first, but it's too many
Time
variables.
travel seems fun, but then once you start getting into it, it's like, it's not worth it. Like, there's way too much.
It's too many variables.
Let me close some windows here. All right, next up. Every time you urinate, it smells fragrantly like delicious fried chicken. I don't know if that's what I would want.
I don't want to smell like fried chicken.
Every person in a 300-foot radius will hear you urinating.
No. Just
Why was that the pleasant fragrance?
Just say no.
Fried chicken.
just say no.
I mean, you could have said roses.
Just say no.
Thankfully,
Do you know how
79%
loud?
said
Do you know
no.
how loud it would be?
Who wants that bad? 21% of people said yes, or 2,000 people said yes.
That's
Why would you want that?
Some big back folks.
You
I'm
want
sorry.
it, but you can't eat it.
That don't matter. Big back. You want to smell like chicken all
Oh
day.
my gosh! All right, you have limitless upper body strength. You have legs made of pine wood. I hope they mean like metaphorically, not like actual pine wood. So you'd be really weak in your legs, but limitless upper body strength.
But is pine wood strong?
I'm assuming.
I don't know.
not.
I don't know a lot of things about wood.
I would assume if it's the butt side of it, then it's not. Like in the butt, you have legs of pine wood, so probably not.
Made of pine wood or look like pine wood.
I don't know. If it's literal pine wood, definitely not taking it. But if it's just saying I just have weak legs and they can break easy and stuff like that, nah. I'd rather just work it out.
Yeah,
I got pretty strong legs, so
I'm not pressing that button.
Yeah,
Skip
nah,
that
not to
one.
know.
Skip that one.
I will not, and most people agreed. All right, you will never feel depressed or anxious again, but you will lose 2 random fingers. Sounds like a plot to a book. Random fingers. You can't even choose the fingers. So you could choose you could lose 2 thumbs. That's not worth it. I could just work on my mental health. I guess the devil out.
You would never feel depressed
or
or
anxious again, but you will lose 2 random fingers.
Yeah, that's not worth
My
it.
fingers might be necessary.
There's a lot of things we can do now to overcome depression and sadness.
Some people say you get prosthetics though too for your fingers.
No.
All right, I'm trying to move to the next one, but the internet is interneting right now. All right, let me try my phone. This has never happened before since we've been live.
I think somebody is there it is.
There we go. All right, you gain the ability to pause and unpause time at will. I feel like we've had this one before. Each time you pause, there is a 1% chance that time will never unpause. Oh, I might take the risk.
There's a 1%. That's a low percentage.
It's not low enough. Would I take the risk? I probably wouldn't. I'm too pragmatic. I'm not gonna take the risk, but I would kind of want to. I would love that ability to pause.
I would probably do it. I would probably press the button. I probably would.
And then what happens when you can't pause?
There has to be a way of fixing it. It's like buffering. Just like right now, we're buffering a lot. Something wrong with the internet. It will eventually.
But it may not, and you alone in a paused world. I probably wouldn't mind the solitude, but it kind of messed up to put everybody in a position.
Yeah, it would be crazy.
So you would
Press the button.
All right, let's see how many people do it. 55% of people said they would press it.
'Cause
people don't grasp the magnitude of 1%.
Well, we say 99%. It will work.
But how many times are you going to press this button? I mean, are you going to pause time? Because here's the thing. If you pause time 100 times, theoretically, one of those times would be the wrong one. Each time you press it, you're increasing your chances, so to speak, of it happening. Like, if you're only going to press it a couple times in your life, like, I'm only going to press it when I really need it. Like, I'm about to get in an accident.
Someone say life is a chance, so why not?
All right. You gain infinite knowledge and wisdom, but you are paralyzed from the neck down.
No.
Yeah, nah.
No.
Nah. I don't want that. 63% of people say no. Next one. You get an infinite debit card that can't be stolen, but you are banned from every non-online store. So
What?
you
What?
can just do online shopping.
But bro, if I can't shop on Amazon,
You can't. It's every non-online store.
oh nah,
just can't
I just heard
physically-
online. Okay,
You can't physically enter
okay,
the stores.
okay, I'm good.
I can get my groceries delivered to me.
I'm good. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do that. I can definitely do that. We can literally order our cars.
You can.
Yes. I don't have to ever go to a store again.
I'm trying to think of any good reason. The only thing that might get a little dicey is clothes, but I have infinite money, so if I order the wrong thing, ain't no big deal.
I mean, yeah, I would Amazon cart lit.
Looks like 63% of people said they'd go for it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a good trade. You can get everything delivered.
But listen, I can send somebody else in the store though.
True. That's true as well. All right. We
We have a question in the comment
what?
from Fatality. They say, would you push the button to unlock the knowledge of the world and the US be a secret, or push the opposite button and learn the secret of the US and close off from the rest of the world?
All right. So you unlock the knowledge, but it's a secret. I don't really get it. Is it a secret? Let me read it for myself. All right. Where I can see it. Would you push the button to unlock the knowledge of the world and the U.S., be a secret, or push the opposite button and learn the secret of the U.S. and close the rest of the world? Oh. I think it's like you learn the knowledge of the rest of the world, but you don't have to. But the U.S. stuff stays a secret, or you learn the secret of the U.S., but you don't learn the rest of the world. Okay. I'd rather get the rest of the world.
You want the secrets of the US.
Of the rest of the world,
No, you want the secrets of the rest of the world.
not the U.S. secrets. I mean, there's more countries. There's way more value in having everyone else's secrets.
True that. You can
Yeah.
use it against them.
And as we get closer and closer to Jesus' return, the U.S.'s importance in time events are way more diminished than we think. So I would rather get everyone's secrets. Most definitely.
Because definitely, you could charge for them secrets. Big money.
All right. You find your perfect life partner and become fabulously wealthy. You can never have children, natural or adopted. That's dark.
That's very dark.
What? No, we're not doing that. Some people would choose that because they don't want children. I guess you're someone who does not interested in having children, you would do that. But
You're perfect. Well, no, I will not.
yeah.
I will not do that.
67% of people said they would do it.
Of course.
That shows the way the world has gone. You can have free Thai food. I guess infinitely. I don't know. You get free Thai food, but you live in Thailand and you cannot leave the country. Nah.
No, that's okay.
I don't even know if I've even had Thai food like that before.
Thai food is good if you go to the right place, but I don't have to live in Thailand forever. No, I don't want to
Just
live.
have free Thai food. I
Just
can
to
buy
have free Thai
yeah.
food. No.
I will not.
No.
I mean, and as I didn't diss Thailand, I'm sure you got a wonderful country, but
I don't want.
know
I
anything
love
enough about your
America.
country to want to
I
say
don't.
that.
No, not for just food.
Yeah, that's not good enough.
I mean, how
Yeah.
much is Thai food anyway? It's not that expensive.
All right, let's look at this one. $50 million appears in your lap, but it's all yours. But it's all yours. But the money empties the life savings of everyone you have ever met. Everyone I've ever met, like just passing. They know I did it. That's
$50
messed up.
million really. It's a lot of money, but is the life savings the money? Is that part of $50 million?
I don't know if it is or not, but they're just saying that everybody you have ever met in your life, their life savings disappears.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be real honest. I don't remember everybody that I've met. I know like my current circle of people, spirits, but every single person that I have met, they don't hold the same level of importance.
Okay, but you're just for no reason just taking their money.
But I wouldn't know that. Like I don't know all those people. Okay? But the people that I do know, like my circle of friends, I would give them money back. I would give them part of the money. So
you take care of your folks.
I would. I take care of them. But everybody else that I've met in the grocery store, the little lady in the corner, I don't know you.
There could be, but the little old lady grocery store could have been one day away from retirement, and now she's got nothing. What's she gonna do? Got no family.
But if the
She's
money
hurt.
just fell in my lap, I don't know where it came from. I mean.
But you know that it took with the little old lady's money, and now she's 65 years old, one day from
But
retirement.
what am I
What's she
supposed to
gonna
do? But how? But
Just
what?
don't take the money.
But
You're trying to find a way to keep the money and it'd be okay. Just don't take the money. Fatala said they will be fine.
Exactly. You said Casey a villain.
I understand though. No. I couldn't do that because I mean, there's a lot of people. Like, here's my thing. If it happened to me, I trust God. I'll be fine. There are people who would take their own life if that happened. Like, they would be broken. I can't do that to folks. I can't do that to folks. I just get 50 million.
I don't know. Maybe I just started fun for people who lost money. If you lost your money in your account, come see such and such.
And what are you going to do?
I don't know.
Because all the people you've met, you want to give them all your money, you'll be back with no money.
No, I would just, they had to prove to me how much money they had in their account, and I give it back.
But again, everybody you've met, that might drain the whole.
I mean, I'm one person. I haven't met that many people. I mean, yes, I've met a lot of people in my life, but I haven't met that many.
You've met some wealthy people though.
I have.
What if their savings was like 20 million, or even $1 million? That starts adding up real fast.
True.
Oh my God.
Next question.
I will not. Let's see how many questions.
We got time for one more question.
It was about half and half, 55 to 45%. Most people said they would not. Thank you, people of humanity.
One more question, y'all.
All right. You become YouTube famous.
Okay.
But you will never do a face reveal. You can never reveal your identity. Okay. There's people who do that now.
Exactly.
What's the problem? If anything, that's
because
better.
If I'm famous, that means that ad revenue is on lock, man.
Some people prefer that. If I could do what I do and be anonymous, I would probably choose that option, but we can't do it. But if we could, I probably would choose that. No one got to know who I am.
Yeah, it'd be easier to walk around in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not 80% of people chose that. Yeah. Unless you just really want fame. Like, but you are famous. It's just no one knows it's you. Yeah. You got to really just want people to know it's you. I would not care one bit.
Yeah.
It's just not the nature of what we do. So, oh well. Thank you to everyone who watched. Thank you for a shout out to Cozy Crochet Co. for becoming a Marriage You channel member. If anybody, I'll make a mistake and hit the button. Probably talking about the money jank. But if anybody wants to choose our next topic, you can do a super chat or a super thanks if you're watching this on replay, or send us with stars. Or a gift or whatever, and choose our topic for next time. But Friday we'll be here with Inside the Conversation, and we will be handling the topic God versus LGBTQ+. And we'll be back Monday with another episode of Jen and Casey Show. So we love you guys as always. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with the stream, even with all the buffering issues. And we will see you the next time. Love you guys. See you.